Welcome back to Comic Book ASMR. Today we're going to be doing a long overdue comic book haul. Apologies to all of you guys. I've got so much stuff just going on, unfortunately. You know I'd be making videos as frequently as I was before if I could, but so I hope you don't mind the intermission here, but we're going to start off. So I'm going to show off my newer stuff and then my huge chunk of older stuff. So first off, I got Avengers Twilight. And of course, I couldn't pass up the Frank Miller homage to the Dark Knight cover here. And this wasn't a book that I was initially going to get. It looked a bit interesting though. So this is by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Lacuna. And it's just kind of one of those way set in the future. We see a very grizzled Steve here. Storylines where there was a tragedy called H-Day where more or less a ton of the heroes got killed. That is, memorialized every single year. So like Steve can't forget the failures that happened on that day and stuff. So more or less stuff is not going too great as far as humanity is concerned. And Steve, he's longing for things to kind of be better, And at this stage, he doesn't have his powers anymore, or the serum rather, because he never really had powers, but I mean, briefly he did, but you know what I mean. He's not like Superman. So yeah, this is kind of, and then we see excerpts of it here. Here's a bit of the H-Day. So we see Peter dying here. So yeah, it's interesting. I love the art. I love Daniel Acuna's style here. And I look forward to seeing where it goes. Next we have Avengers Twilight Book 2 with Alex Ross cover. He did the regular covers here. But yeah, see here's some of Daniel's art. Like, he is really great when he has a full page to work with. As you guys know, I love any time we can really get some high artistry on the pages, and that's a prime example of it when you can play and actually do like a painted image. I love stuff like that. So, and Daniel's a top talent in my eyes. Next we have Batman Echoes number 2, which I was surprised that this had recently come out. The first one was like way back in October or something like that, so not sure why they had the delay, but I'm glad I saw it in the shop and was able to get it. I was just under the impression that it already came and went. This was one that wasn't in my pull list. I wasn't supremely impressed with the first 89 run. I mean, I liked the premise of it, but it was just, I don't know. I just didn't really care for the focus of the book, I guess. So I think there could have been more Batman or something like that, because they're really trying to play up the angles of the characters that weren't in the movie, So yeah, I believe at this stage, as I said previously, that they're going with Madonna for the role of Harley Quinn in this book. I believe, I'm not sure. I haven't read this one yet either. So these, more or less, I got partially into the Avengers book I showed off. And then I'm making this video now. So next we have Superman number 12. So Clark's trying to save Lex here. And we all know how that goes, Always the Boy Scout even trying to save his greatest enemy when he's terminal, So yeah, the series has been okay. Recently I haven't really been too into it. They did like this weird like Wild West thing, which you'll see the later issues in the haul. I'll show those briefly off. But yeah, I'm just collecting and selling off things that I'm not too sold on. So it looks like we got Jimmy here doing some crime fighting type stuff. World's Finest number 25. And the bummer, the variant for this was the William Shatner cover, which I wasn't able to secure. So hopefully I'll find one in the aftermarket, probably for much higher, you know. But it's whatever. It looks like they've switched art styles here, or at least since it's a bigger book, fingers crossed, maybe it's gonna be partially someone and then the regular artist. Because he's been doing this for a while here. I think this is Dan Mora. Yeah. His art's really been helping sell the feel of the book. Classic Lex there. Let me flip it forward a bit here. Yeah, so I do see some more art in the back. So, but yeah, as you saw, so this issue we have a Joker and Lex team up against Batman and Superman. So that type of stuff is really what those series are all about. And you'll see the other issues too, and I can speak on those. We have Action Comics number 1063, which I love this cover here. Definitely have that Christopher Reeves kind of homage there. Really just timid, unsure Clark. And yeah, I like that they've been doing this. They got the card stock and then the normal cover underneath. So that way you get both of them. So I think this is the last, yeah, it says conclusion, so the last part of the Bizarro storyline. Which, once again, hasn't really grabbed me, but it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world, but, you know, I'm recently just had a lot of nostalgia goggles. I'm currently just chipping away on old X-Men and old Superman. That's really where my heart is right now. And this stuff, it's kind of like I read it and then I kind of forget, honestly. A lot of developments in the story, and that's just kind of where my head's at, you know, dealing with depression and all that good stuff. So hopefully that'll get better, but, you know, it definitely doesn't make things easier, unfortunately. Yeah, but that's some pretty decent art here. I like this right here. And we have Ninja Turtles Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan by Sanluco, which I didn't even know that this was going to be a mini-series or anything like that. I love Sanluco. I think he's my favorite modern Turtles artist from the IDW run for sure. So as soon as I saw this, he had promoted it on his own socials. I was like, yeah, there's a book coming out? Awesome. And I think he's only gotten better too. But he just kind of has the feel of the look right of the characters and stuff, and, you know, shows enough energy and things like that. So I'll be interested to see for sure kind of what happens with this and how many parts it is. Next we have Turtles 149. So after issue 150, they're going to kind of do like a numbers reset, I believe. I know they're going to do a series of like one-shots focused on each turtle, and there's going to be different artists on each one. They're kind of like more or less doing kind of a Marvel approach to it, and I think they've got some Marvel talent working on the stuff, if I remember correctly. Some bigger names. I can't off the top of my head remember exactly who's working on it, but as far as the narrative right now, I mean, this is one like I can't remember or comprehend. I mean, I know there's this big event with this giant, massive blood whale, Armagon, or I'm trying to remember what his name is. I know he's a nod to like the tournament fighters, shark character and stuff, but the tone of it is way different than anything like that, so it's hard for me to place it. But yeah, I know basically like Donnie is the catalyst for all this, where it's really kind of up to him to progress here and save the future. And I believe this is Jenica here. I can't remember though. And then we have Venus, who's not an official turtle, but you know. And we have Spawn 351. So yeah, a whole bunch of different directions for this. So they had the big war for the throne, and then, well, that's a bit spicy. I don't even know if I can show the opening image there. But they had the war for the throne, and basically none of the people that you would expect to get it got it. So Sin didn't get it, Spawn didn't get it. I'm trying to remember her name. Got it instead with the purple hair. So I think Brett Booth is on this. Yeah, he is. So I love Brett's stuff. Definitely gives that 90s feel. He's a good talent. I loved his gunslinger run. So I look forward to seeing what he does with the regular ongoing Spawn for sure. So congrats to him. I look forward to seeing the story he tells, which will hopefully be a longer arc. I think he did about 25 of the gunslinger. And then I went back. I had kept seeing this on the shelf. As you saw, the comic shop had it there since December 22nd. I had never formally opened this up. I'd always seen it in passing behind glass in places at other places, like half price for one of their rarer books and stuff. So this is the trade that collects the world's finest movie into the illustrated style here. So I didn't even know anything about the interior. So Joe Stanton is doing the art here, which he's definitely done his share of Batman animated comic storylines. I was surprised to see him, though. I thought they would have gone with Bruce Timm or someone like that. But yeah, so it's kind of a good blend between the WB and the Fox Kids style. Sometimes it's a bit more stretched than it is angular, if that makes sense. Especially there's an image of Harley in here I saw where her face is super rounded. There's part of it there, you can see. So yeah, this is one that, like I said, I'd always seen but never owned. And I figured, why not? My pull list wasn't that huge on this one. It hasn't been recently. Not a ton that's really getting my attention. So we have a little Bruce Timm image on the back. And of course he did the front too. I love the watercolors on there. And then Harley on the bottom. Next I'll show off a couple Kickstarters that I backed. These are both indie guys here. So this was Chris Tomasma's latest Clarity Girl storyline. So yeah, Chris has been a comic buddy of mine for a while. I've been seeing him do his fair share of stuff. I'm trying to remember. This is Clarity Girl and Squirrel Boy at Comic-Con or something like that. I'm trying to remember the exact name of this storyline, but he draws as well as writes. This isn't his particular art here. The artist here is Shiro Gaither, it looks like. So, but yeah, he had a tier where you could put your character in the book. So you do see the bull in here. Briefly, it's literally just a panel. There's no speaking part or anything. But yeah, no, this is fun. I love Chris's approach. He's a good, fresh voice, He really takes pride in making his books. Even though the stuff isn't always polished. This looks great, by the way. I know he didn't draw it, but it looks good to me. So simplified with the backgrounds and things like that. But I mean, it's definitely not harsh on the eyes. So yes, here's the bull down here. So this is my character. If you guys remember, I need to put out another issue. So this counts. So if you're a bull completionist collect person here and you're looking for the next bull book to get, I mean, this will count. So I'll leave a link below if he's still selling these. I don't know if he is or not though, but yeah, so let me get in tighter there. So but yeah, there he is. And then I think in the back is, yeah, this is actually Chris's art style here. So it's more simplistic, you know. But it's fine. At the end of the day, he's producing stuff, though, so you can't really fault him too much. And then there's another story behind that one. It looks like it's more of like a Teen Titans Go type feel to it, or just kind of Cartoon Network in general. And he loves all that type of stuff. And then here's like some little chibi stickers he did, a little pack-in bonus. I love that Kratos there. And then he did like a little manga styled one. So it's all black and white here. And this is cool. It's a little bit more serious in tone. And then there's a secondary story in the back, it looks like, too. Right there. And maybe even another story. Yeah, so there's another one. So yeah, he likes to put like a lot of little... He does collections of stories and this stuff. And there's a Clarity Girl cosplay insert there. And then this was a little brief thing he did too called Drummer Boyd. And they're just like two little ash cans. And he mostly tries to be wholesome too, so anytime he's got any sort of spicy language or whatever, he'll kind of throw a warning on there. But yeah, see how it's just kind of like a literal ash can type thing going on. So it looks like art here is by Seth DeMoose. Yeah, so it looks like just a little brief thing. And there's number 2. Well, maybe at some point he'll make this into a bigger one or not. I don't know. I mean, this looks like it was pretty simple. But it's whatever. I just basically backed at the largest tier I could to support him. I love Chris's attitude, and I look forward to seeing what he continues to do in the community. Next we have Titan Mouse of Might Volume 3. This is by Gary Shipman. And if you guys weren't familiar, he's been supportive of the bull. Hopefully when I do the bull number 2, fingers crossed, he would do the cover, is my intent. But yeah, Gary's another just wholesome dude. He's really talented. His style, as you'll see here, he does like a lot more of like pen and ink wash type stuff. He's very traditional in his approach. He's great. He's definitely, kind of like a diamond in the rough. I think his style is great. And he's just a good guy. He's very humble and kind, uplifting, supportive. As you can see, he's great. He's very skilled. And then on the back, he even had some fan art he put in here. And then another friend of mine, Nighthawk Warrior here, Zachary Mixon. He even put his thing in here, so really cool. But yeah, you can tell he appreciates his readers. He streams quite a bit. I think he does more on Twitch than YouTube. But I'll leave links to his stuff below if I'm able to. And then, of course, here's all these sort of little bonuses. I love that sticker there. A little bookmark. So I got the remake Batman Superpowers toy. So when Todd had initially announced he was making these figures, this is the Batman I was hoping to get. So I'm glad he finally did. I know the initial run they did like the Hush version of Batman, so I was like, oh man, I wanted like the traditional one. So here it is finally. So I'm really glad he did this one. So when I saw it on the shelf, naturally I snatched it right up without hesitation. And the mold here looks very close to the Kenner Batman mold, if I'm looking here, which it might be, honestly. Parts of it, at least that body for sure. So then I got the McFarlane Steel figure here. So yeah, this is one I pre-ordered a long time ago. And then this is the image that's on the card. So at this point we're just missing the Cyborg, which from what I've seen from possible leaks, he's like a new 52 version. And then I got the X-Men 97 Cyclops. And the little part here, you can click in his optic blast. You can switch the heads out. And I did see this show too. So yeah, I think it's off to a good start. I mean, of course, we've got nostalgia goggles for the other episodes and stuff. You know, there's beats from things from the comics in it, so I can't complain too much. There are parts where I like the art style. There's parts where I don't like the art style, but overall, I'd say it's an enjoyable show to watch. So I've been happy that they finally released it. We'll see where it goes. Next, I was able to get Animal Man here. And it has this Wolverine in there, and then we flip it. I think there's there's an extra hand in there too. And then that's the image that's on the card, which isn't that great, honestly. A lot of the images he gets for the cards are not the best. So I'm like, Todd, what are you doing? Or it's like, you know, the images on the cards don't even match the toy. Look, see how the costume is different and stuff? Like, why are you doing that? And then I got them for clearance too. I only paid $11 for them, so that was cool. Then we have this nice, very happy classic Superman here, which he's even got the flying base in there. So hopefully I'll set him up in my office. I don't know if I'll replace the other one because this one is just so cheery. My other one is fighting Zod. So I don't think that's an accurate swap out. But yeah, this is supposed to be like the classic one. So I don't know why his belt looks like that. And then you can see on the mold, they've got, you know, the still sleeve stuff. Sleeve textures, which he shouldn't have any of that if this is the old school one. With some nice classic art on the back there. And then we got the Christian Bale Batman. And he's got the little launcher in there and the little glider hood mount. And yeah, I like this picture here. This is what the card shows. Really cool. So I'm glad I saw this one. These were all just ones I stumbled on too, which luckily I had money because they had like one of each of these guys on the shelf. So, and I got a Game of Thrones soap set that came out from Dr Squatch. And this is really cool. So here are the scents here. Out of all this one smells the best. It has really kind of a warm, spicy smell, which, I mean, makes sense given which soap one it is. And this one's got little menthol bits in it, so as you're washing, you'll get like kind of a cool tingle from it. So these are pretty cool. I don't know if they still have this set on the site. I do have a referral code down below. I believe it saves you $10 and gives me 8 to use on a future purchase. So if you want to help me out in that way, feel free to use that link below. In this sense, there was only 3 bars instead of 4. I think it was around 30 instead of 40 like the Avengers one. So next up, I'll show just kind of some of the previous books I've gotten here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We've got Batman 142. $143, $144, and then $145. So, if I remember, this is the last part for the Joker Year 1 story, which this was really odd. I didn't really care for. I understand it, honestly. It was really just kind of all over the place. Art's a bit odd in places. I wish the whole art style was done in this one here. I think it kind of flashes back and forth. So we get different art styles, but when it's just so back and forth, it gets confusing to me. So I'm not a big fan of when it does that. So it looks like in this last one it's pretty consistent, but previously there was a lot of another Killing Joke nod there. So you get Batman on the black horse there. So you get just kind of a lot of little weird reference shots. During this run, there's been things that were possibly AI generated, which they might be. Let me see if I can. They're just kind of odd choices that don't make a lot of sense. Yeah, like this here, why does Catwoman look like that? And then a lot of shots of like Batman looks like the Batfleck Batman here in shots, and then it looks almost Keaton-esque here a little bit. And then there was this really weird shot of the Joker. Yeah, like what is going on there? So it just seemed very, very incoherent to me. And then the most recent one, it kind of goes back to. It goes back to Jimenez's stuff here. Pardon my cat, I'm sorry if you can hear them. But yeah, it goes back to the failsafe stuff. So now we've got failsafe mixed with Zur and R. So those are 2 things in particular to me that are just kind of, I don't know, I wish they would move on from that direction. So Chip has already hit on those. I know that he's building this arc, continuing on, and that's kind of, I guess, the rub a lot with modern comics is it's like if you don't care for a writer's particular vision, it's like, oh well, for the next 20 issues, you're not really gonna have a great time. So you have Detective Comics 1081. We get some Federici art in here, which you know I love that. Federici is a gem. Dante's Inferno type feel there. But I love Federici's stuff, so more of his stuff for sure. We're very lucky that he's choosing to work in comics. And then, yeah, I don't like how they switch here with all this question stuff. And then it switches back. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? So I would just love to have the whole thing be Federici's art, which part of it might just be a time constraint. I don't know, but still. And then we have have 1082. We got Batman on the horse again. They just really want us to see him on that horse. We all read The Dark Knight Returns, we remember. So yeah, same thing, it does this where it pops in and out of different art styles. I got Captain America number 6. And 7, I think this is the last one for that, yes. And this has been okay. The art's better than it's been in a while for Cap, for sure. So this issue, he goes to like a mutant speakeasy type of thing. So that was kind of odd. I'm not really sure why. And then previously he'd been dealing with like flashback stuff with his first brush with Hydra before he was officially Cap. Then we have lots of Comic Tom was finally able to put out his first project here, as well with Fire Guy Ryan. So if you guys know Comic Tom 101, they produced Crash Down as their first book here. We got the David Mack cover. They did a bunch of variant covers. So, and then we've got the interior arts by Ben Temple Smith. So yeah, check out Crash Down if you haven't yet. So Comic Tom is a great YouTube comic community personality, as well as he's a local shop here. He's Mill Geek Comics, which I haven't been in there yet. I live fairly close to Everett Comics, and still my comic shop, but soon I'll get over there. But yeah, so I love Ben Temple Smith's style here. I think it's painted. I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know how anyone does anything anymore. But it's off to a solid start. So I got a bunch of variant covers. I liked the classic one as well. And that one was pretty cool too. And then issue number 2 is right here. So we're off to a good start. Just kind of like a space horror type storyline here. Cryogenic sleeping thing goes haywire. We have some brutalities that happen here. A good start. Intrigue, mystery, betrayal. And then I think this is a New Mutants movie poster homage, I believe. Then we have Superman Lost, number 10. And I'm trying to remember exactly how this ended. I think it was good enough. I think it stuck the landing, if I remember. I'm trying to remember if they said, hey, this actually isn't Clark's baby. I can't remember if that's the way it rounded out or not, which is kind of upsetting if it was his, because then it's like, oh yeah, he cheated on Lois. So if they did do that, I don't care for that particular angle. But I loved the fact that there was just kind of the back and forth mental chess, and like Lex gave Lois cancer to try and see if that would push Superman to the brink or not, and all these sorts of things. I'm trying to see. So it says Hope's claim the child that belonged to Victor's planet, and Clark lost something in translation. Now my hair in the brush, Zemzies, which now leaves me exact where I knew I'd be with a new mission to protect Earth, to protect her. So I think they're saying that it's not his. I can't. But either way, it's a good story regardless. 10 parts, I'm sure will be collected. The art's good. You know, there's a lot of good elements in it. We have Action Comics number 1062. So this, we see some bizarro stuff here. And there's a second box of these. Alright, we've got Superman 11 with this nice Bermejo cover. There's the normal cover. So yeah, he came back, I believe, from the Wild West in this issue. He's got stuff going on with like Brainiac and Kryptonite gas and, all sorts of things to mess him up here. There's the normal one. There's 10. This is the Wild West, so I didn't care for this. And then here's the other World Finest ones. 23, the annual, and 24. So we see this stuff here. Darkseid gets killed by Magog, and Gog gets killed as well. Solid art, big action, all this type of stuff. So, I don't remember if he's Gog or Magog by Murdering Gog. So this is Magog, or eventually he turns into Magog. So then there's the confrontation where they're like, by killing them, that makes you know better. And just like they were huge threats, it had to be done. So he's like, no, this just shows we've got one more killer now. And so then they just kind of come to terms and make a promise type of a thing. And then we see kind of a positive future. So it changes the outcome of the events of Kingdom Come, I believe, is the result. And we have Turtles 147. Some additional time Lord people here. Let's see if this one is one too. Okay, so that's 148. I love this cover. So yeah, some more fun here. I have a picture of Mikey there. And then we see the animated stuff, which, yeah, I love that cover. So here we see Renee makes her appearance in the normal Turtles. But yeah, no, I love this guy's style. Because it looks just like the cartoon. I absolutely adore it. It's so cool. And then issue 11 has this really cool nod to the opening shot there, the Shredder transition. And this is just cool. I love it. So they're doing a good job. When this guy is on the art duty for this series, it's beautiful. I just wish the whole thing was like that. And that's, let's see the name. Dan Schoening. And then we have, this is the Turtles source book. I believe they're going to do 3 of them. It's got a San Luco cover on there. Yeah, so this, just kind of does what the traditional source books did. You get character bios, event summaries. It's really to help catch people up who've missed all the previous 150 issues. So I think this kind of covers the first 50 or so, maybe. I believe. I'm trying to see exactly where the story beats are. I think it does. I think it goes to maybe 50 or 100. We see Splinter's sacrifice here. Mutant bomb. So I mean that's like Turtles 100 or close to it, I think. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good thing to have. I've read them all. I don't particularly need that. So this is Spawn 350. Love this cover here. And then, yeah, we see lots of action here. Fighting for the throne. And then, yeah, she takes it here. Basically, they're in the other room. And she takes it over, and then she sits on it, and she's transformed into that way. And Nyx. So yeah, now she's taking it over. King Spawn here, which we've got 30 and then 31, I believe. Yep. So same thing, we're going with different art here. Which this is cool, I like this. The more realistic, quote unquote. That's a cool shot there. So that means this one probably has the other art, which I liked this artist a lot too. So he encounters Wanda in hell in this one here. So yeah, there's some big things in here too. And then Gunslinger 29, oh, this last one I think. Then we have the What If Robin Lived, that's Jason Todd. So the main thing here is we see midway through it, which they already showed this previously in another trade. They had, because they already had the pages laid out for if he had lived or not. So this was if Jason Todd had lived after the explosion. And that was really the main change. And then this one just got for the Eastman cover, which honestly not his best work. Wolverine's proportions are kind of janked here. But you know what? Deadpool's proportions were kind of janked on the original cover as well. So yeah, I didn't even read the inside of this. This was solely, the shop pulled it for me because of the Eastman cover. They know I collect Eastman, so I'm not sure what this book is about. Okay, so now I move on to all sorts of books. So we got the Elektra Assassin collection for $30. And I was excited because I'd never read this either. So some more Bill Sienkiewicz premium goodness. Very innovative, creepy, all over the place. Just like that Daredevil one that I got. We get some more mature tone. This was Marvel's Epic line, which was like their mature readers line. Maybe the first of the big two to do that. I don't remember honestly if Vertigo came before it or not. But super happy to have this and finally be able to read it. But yeah, this is, if you can find the trade, about what you would pay for the trade. So I might as well just enjoy having the actual books, and they're on premium printed paper and all that stuff. So this is the full 8 issues of the series. So I'm really happy I got it. Can't wait to read it. And then we have The Last Ronin 2. Number 1 with the Eastman cover, of course. So, looks pretty good. I started to read it and then time got away from me literally last night. So we've got some different art styles in here. It looks solid though. I look forward to seeing it. So this isn't Eastman's, but this is Ben Bishop style. I can tell it's still Ben's, but it's got that zip tone shading in here. So we've got 2 sets of art duties, I believe, here. Yeah, so Esau and Isaac, and then Ben are doing the art duties. So yeah, just kind of continuing on with the Turtles kids. So everything from this point is trades. So this is where I'm currently reading is the epic collection of the Brood Saga. I've never formally read all of the classic X-Men stuff. So, I really loved the X-Men. The cartoon was big for me growing up. Always loved the toys, etc., so always a huge inspiration with those pieces. I'm just like, I would love to just read everything kind of up through kind of that mid-90s. A little bit after Lee, because Kubert did some good stuff too, but just kind of that whole period. And then I got this because it was half off at Everett Comics. The first bit of it, I remember reading the single issues. So this is kind of when Bruce retreats into the desert to kind of swear off being Hulk and still ends up doing things that he regrets. But the later half is actually the real story that I love. Probably one of my favorite Hulk stories. So this has Banner in the back of it. So Banner is just kind of this really brutal, kind of ugly take on the Hulk here. And I just love kind of like the pointillism that you see with all the dot work there and the shading on the ends. It's not like full pointillism, but yeah, I just kind of remember I loved how the shading was done on it and stuff, and just kind of the ugliness to it. So yeah, and this was kind of like a 4-part mini-series, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to remember who did it, actually. Let's see here. Richard Corbin, maybe? I know the name. Let me see if in the front it says too. And this had come out around about the time when the original Hulk movie had come out. I don't know why it's not showing Banner in the front writing credits. I think it's probably Richard Corbin, though. Yeah, so this, yeah, Corbin, the corner there, so Richard Corbin. So really cool. I think I got this for like $10 or something, so I couldn't pass it up. 15 because it was half price. These are all half price too, so this is the entire Descender run here. So this is one that I always wanted to read. So this has just beautiful Dustin Wynn art. So he does his watercolors, and it's just all very well done. I love Dustin's style. It's very fun to look at, pleasing to the eye, masterful, etc., etc. So he has that manga element to it. He's a great talent. I love him. He's a great storyteller. So really happy I was able to get all these. And then I still need to get Ascender, which is the follow-up storyline here with the girl. But regardless, really great story. Highly recommended. Check it out. And then this was something I didn't even know was in existence. So this, I think it just come out. So this is the Batman Beyond compendium. This is all of the Batman Beyond comics in one big old book. So I used to own them all back before all my comics were stolen. So naturally, of course, I jumped at the chance to get this. And it was $60, I believe. I think you can get it slightly cheaper on Amazon. But naturally, if your local shop has it, please support local. Helps keep them in business, obviously. We take them for granted a lot. So, yeah, 60 is the cover price on that. And then another fun one I found on the shelf there, the Asgardian Wars. This is a story that often doesn't get collected. So this was in like a lot of like the annuals and stuff. We see like the true goddess mode of Storm in here, with lots of fantastic Art Adams artwork. And it just kind of takes place between other things going on, so it gets overlooked a lot. But this is kind of a really fun sort of story. And I was lucky that I found like the original trade of it too, because I love the charm of like the original coloring, where it's not like extra bright like when you get the newer, essential versions or whatever. So really cool, really happy that I finally have that too. So, I got two kind of unrelated. So you want to get this? So this is Somebody Feed Phil the book. I love to cook and stuff too, so there's a Netflix series by this title. So Phil Rosenthal, he is, his biggest credit is the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, and he's a comedy writer and stuff like that too. So basically he's got a Netflix show where he travels all around the world to all these different countries and really experiences the culture, not just the food, but he's just a really fun guy. He's really just sweet and funny. And so he has like different tour guides who take him around. He kind of gets like behind the scenes of, get to actually meet the chefs who prepare stuff. And it's not all like the fancy places. Sometimes it's like, your street food type places and things like that. But he's just a lot of fun. So the main reason I got the book is just like the show has behind the scenes stuff, a lot of, little candid type moments in it. A side thing on here, I guess there's recipes in it, which isn't why I got it, but it's nice to have because I do enjoy cooking and stuff too. But and then he's actually going to be coming to Seattle in May, and I actually got like third row seats, which actually weren't too much too, so I'm excited to see him in May. And after I bought my ticket, then I saw there was a meet and greet, but it's going to be after the show, and I don't know how long it'll run, and I didn't want to get stuck in downtown Seattle with a way back since I take the bus. And then kind of more on brand, so this is the Art of the Goosebumps covers. This had been out of print for a while. So I'll formally do, hopefully, I wanted to do like last Halloween or 2 Halloweens, however many Halloweens I've wanted to do this book. But I think then is when I'll do a formal flip through of it. But yeah, it shows like pencil roughs and stuff, and then the completed covers. And really kind of the lasting impact on me, as you guys know, like art is my huge thing. So I liked the books, but I loved all the neat covers and stuff. So I love that. This book collects them all and kind of shows you the process. But that's gonna do it for now. So hopefully the next video will be sooner rather than later. Thank you all for bearing with me through this. I definitely want to continue to do things for the channel, keep sharing it out, liking it, commenting. It's not that I don't want to make videos, it's just kind of life is in the way, unfortunately, right now with transitioning away from the marriage. And then with work kind of being where it is, it's kind of difficult with a new individual we're supporting and staffing. I'm having to work things I don't typically work, so. But I appreciate your viewership. Let's keep it going. I love you all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, you all have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.